everybody. All right, so today for lunch, I'm not eating. I'm making decals. No, I'm kidding. I already ate, but I'm going to do some laser decals. I'm going to print some out, and I am going to apply them. And I had seen on Periscope that a lot of people had been asking questions about decals, so I thought this would be a great chance for people to send me their questions, and I'll give them my answers. So anyhow, I'm gonna put this on my iPad. Would somebody, hold on, let me set this down. So if someone is following me already, will you share this so that I can, oh yes, somebody did. Lori, thank you Lori, hi Lori, thanks for sharing. All right, I've never used my iPad and done this before, so this is a first time thing. So let's see if I can figure it all out. Make sure the volume off, yep, there it is. Oh, that's cool. Okay, good, because I'm eventually going to be putting this up on a tripod and I won't actually be able to see. All right, so what I want to start with is my computer and printing out some decals. So hi everybody, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. So here on my computer, I have an Illustrator file up. Try to hold this steady. Hey, Plaster Cottage, thanks for joining. So I start with my images. These started as drawings that I made. I scanned them into my computer, and then I put them in Illustrator, and then I turned them into vector drawings. So that's what you're seeing here. And you can do that with any image you have if you take it into Illustrator. All right, so I'm trying to get this to stay still. All right, all you do is you put in Illustrator. I don't know if I can hold this, and if you have, you could just print it as a photo too, but in Illustrator you go ahead and you select black and white, and you can change everything to black and white, and then you just up your contrast, and once your contrast has gotten rid of all the gray, you're ready to go. So anyhow, this is a bunch of images I've imported. Yeah, it's a Mac. I use a Mac. It's a, just zoom right in. MacBook Pro. I love my Mac. But you could do it on PC. You don't need to have a Mac. So the paper I use is right here. Me too, yeah. I love Macs. Focus. So it's from this company called decalpaper.com. And let me pull this out. I want to make you guys busy with all the wiggling I'm doing. You know what? I'm going to put this in the tripod. Hold on, everyone. All right, as long as this doesn't fall down, we're good. Okay, so here's the paper, and I buy usually 50 to 100 sheets at a time because I use a lot. But you can buy just a couple sheets. They do sell it individually. I pay $42 for 50 sheets plus $8 shipping. So you can say $1 a sheet is basically what it costs. So here's the paper. And I've made my own notes because I forget things. And I'm going to show you how I put this in the printer. So here's what the paper looks like. Gonna have to catch me. Okay, yeah, great. And also I want to throw this out. I'll be presenting in Sika this year in the process room. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but not too in depth about the printing process. All right, so I start with my printer. I know the light's really dark over here because I'm in my house. So it's an HP 1102W. Just pulling out the regular paper. So I put on my printer, if you look at this, you can see the paper has a backing. So mine goes in on my printer with the glossy side shut up. So if you look, there's two sides, and you'll be able to see if you get the paper home, you'll be able to tell. So anyhow, mine has a weird code. You see that? All right, I'm gonna have to switch out. Hold on. Next sheet down. No, they all have it. All right, I've never noticed that before. So weird. Okay, and I've got a helper today. That's my cat, Zinnia. Whenever I decal, she has to get in my face. Like, she gets in the water, she dances on the pots. She's now coming to the computer to push the buttons. Zinnia, hang on, honey. Okay, so I'm just going to put my paper in the printer. Printer is on. Kitty is helping. Yes, I know, of course. Zinnia, now she's knocking the paper everywhere. All right, so I had her locked on the porch, but she must have been let in. And she's done something to my screen. Hold on, I've got to move the cat. So the tutorial's been interrupted by a cat. All right, I have to get out of here. Okay, now we're back. So here's my page. I'm going to print this out. And the ink that I use, you know, it's an HP laser printer, and it's a black and white, and the key is it has to be a black and white laser printer. You cannot use a color laser printer. It's the ink. And I found the 85A, HP 85A ink has enough iron in it that it won't burn out in the kiln. So the key is to have a printer that uses that ink. So really, I think if you had any printer at all, you'd be able to use. All right, hold on. So the cat messed up my computer. This was not intended. So we are waiting. Anyhow, if you all have any questions about laser decals, please, I'm here, ask. And I'll try to help you all out. Okay. Well, anyhow, so I would print this out. I have some printed out. Maybe we'll just go ahead and work on those because I'm not sure what my cat did to the computer. Those are images I drew, yes. So they started out, oh yeah, we're going to be able to print, awesome. They started out as drawings that I scanned into my computer, and then I put them into Photoshop because that's where they go first, and then I dragged them over to Illustrator and turned them into black and white drawings. Cool, so I'm going to print that out. That's going to print. And so what will happen with the printer is it will go through and it will print on the front side, not the backer side. Printing decals, it says. Cone 6? No. So what you do is you start with a glazed piece. I'll talk about that in a sec. But you start with glazed ceramic, anything. And these I fire, I only fired a bisque once the decal's on. But Justin Rothshank, I think he does wood firing with his decals. And I believe he puts the decals on bisque. And then he goes ahead and fires it in the kiln like a once fire. But I'm not 100% sure. So here's some that I've printed out already. Here's one that I did. And so I'm going to be putting that on this plate. So like I was saying, you need a glazed surface. So here's some plates. I actually just barely unloaded these from the kiln. They're going to be what I'm using at NCECA for my demo. So you'll get to see these again if you're there. Here's one that I did last week. So you can see the decal's been applied and fired to this glazed cup. And it turns sepia instead of black. It looks black before. So there it is before firing. It's black. Once it's fired and on the piece, it goes to this really great sepia color. If you want black imagery, you can get it. I think you have to go commercial though and send your images to somebody and they will go ahead and print them for you and send them back to you. Ah, the printer. Okay, so that's printing out. Let me pull this over here. So there's all my images now printed out. I'm going to put this on the tripod. That way I will be able to work steadily. Sorry. Hang in there, everyone. Okay. So, there we go. Hey, thanks for joining, everyone. Okay, I think you guys will be able to see what I'm going to do. Alright. And I've got it up on the iPad, so if I'm looking off in a funny direction, you know why. Oh, it's actually delayed. That's kind of weird. Seeing myself move slow. Alright, so this is the one I'm going to put on. These are the ones I just printed out. And I will put these on some smaller pieces. Actually, they are going to go on this bottle right here. One of them. This one actually is going to go on there. And then the others are going to go on these bowls and stuff. So, alright, so I start with my decal already. And once it prints out, you're all ready to go. You just go ahead and cut out the shape. Let me grab my scissors. I like these really sharp scissors. They're embroidery scissors, I believe, or paper art scissors, but they cut great. So you want to cut as close to your decal as possible. You don't need this excess material. It would actually be on the surface of the piece, and you would see it would dull the glaze a little. And so you just cut out all along. And you can print your own decals. It's, I mean, all you really need is a printer that takes the proper ink. I think I paid $100 for that printer brand new. And I don't know if they make the 1102 still, but they make the 1103, which is basically the same thing. And if you have the HP ink, don't do the generic ink. It's not the same. I tried it once. It was horrible. So this piece I'm putting it on is a cone 6 glaze. It's cone 6 porcelain. It's fired. It's glazed. It's ready to go. I'm going to put this decal in a bowl of water. And I'm going to let it sit in the water for about 30 seconds. You guys are quiet. No questions. Nobody wants to know anything. Just hearts. Thanks for the hearts. So this will sit in here, and I'll check it. My water's about room temp, but the warmer the water is, the faster it'll pull off the backing paper. And you can see right here it's starting to pull off a bit. Okay, so to prep my surface that I'm going to put the decal on, it did just come out of the kiln, so it's clean. And I'm not really worried about dust or anything, but I use rubbing alcohol. And I'm pretty low tech here. So I am just going to clean this surface with a paper towel that I have put rubbing alcohol. And so I just rub it all the way around, making sure there's no grease or fingerprints left from before. Alright, so that's clean. Now, make sure I have it upwards here, the line. And, oh, okay. So my decal, is that a plate made? Yes, I did make this plate. Last week I think I did a little talk about putting feet on plates. This is a slab build plate with a thrown foot ring that I attached. And I did a little scope last week on it. Yes, glaze fired cone 6. It's just a clear glaze that I made in my studio. Just any clear glaze that you want to use would be fine. Or you can do it on color. I put it, darker colors don't work so well, but light colors work. That was a great scope. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you watched. So here I have the decal ready to go. And you can see it's sliding around on this paper. And I'm just going to lay it still on the paper, on the back, right about here. Now, lining it up. And I'm going to hold this. And as I hold the decal down, I'm not holding it super tight, but I'm putting enough pressure on it so I can pull this backing paper off without pulling the decal off. And you see it just slides out. I don't need that. Throw that away. And then I take another paper towel, dry paper towel, and I just start from the center, smoothing. You could use a rubber rib or a big old sponge if you want to. I really like paper towels because they're easy to get a hold of, and I actually do this part in my house, and all my ribs and stuff are out in the studio, and I don't want to drag them all in here. So I just smooth it out, and I just want to make sure there's no air bubbles under here. There. And you got to really get in right here, this corner where the side and the bottom meet. You got to make sure there's no air trapped. Can you rub print off? No, once it's fired, here's one that I fired already, and you can see it's on there. So this is a cone 6 glaze, which I put the decal on, and then I fire the decal to bisque temperature. So I bisque to 05, so I fire this to 05. This here, this plate will go to 05 as well. And then once that's on, it's permanent. It's on the surface. It's not going anywhere. You can scrub it. You could put it in the dishwasher. You know, I've been using decals for a few years now, and I have pieces that my family uses, and they really are rough on pots. So it survives them, so it's pretty good. I haven't had any problems. I will say though, make sure you fire to the bisque temp for your, before firing, can you rub it off with a paper towel? Oh, is that what you meant? If you scrub it really hard, yes, you could possibly tear your decal, but you're not going to really rub it off. It's on a plastic, it's kind of printed on a plastic piece of, they weren't food safe. Well, the only thing in this one is iron. That's the only thing in this decal. The pieces I'm making, the food won't come in contact. This is a wall piece, although you could use it. But when I'm done, this is going to have china paint. This is going to have gold luster. It's going to be over the top. So, yeah. So I think you'd be okay, though. And I also put them on the outside. My bisque temp is cone 05. But that's for cone 6 glaze. So if you were going to do a cone 10, you might want to go a little hotter because you want to make sure the glaze starts to melt and that the piece bonds to it. So I'm going to do another one. I got another plate here. So this is basically the process. You just print out your decal. You have your piece already made. Once you clean and prep your plate or bowl or cup or whatever you're going to use, you're ready to put your decal on. Once the decals are on, I let them dry a few hours, and then I put them back in for the bisque fire. Thanks for the hearts. So there's my plate. This is the decal that's going to go on here, and I want it to be in the inside. How high I fired them. For a cone 6 glazed piece, I will bisque fire them to cone 05. If you're firing cone 10, you might want to go a little higher. I've never put them on cone 10 glaze pieces. The key is the glaze has to start to melt, because once your glaze starts to melt, the decal, the iron in the decal will bond with the glazed surface and become part of it. So I'm just lining this up here to get my cuts. And I actually don't want all this stuff off this image down here. That can go. You're welcome. Okay, so she's ready. She's going to go on there. Put her in the water. So I found plates are great for decaling. It's easy. Cups, let me sit down for a sec. So cups like this are a little tricky, because if you look, when you have a curve, you have to make a lot of cuts in the decal in order to make it fit. You know, you have to pull it together, or sometimes you have to spread it apart. And the decal, once it comes off the backer, is really plastic, so it's not brittle, so it does have some stretch. So it kind of accommodates that, and I do that on some of my vases. So here's another cup, and you can see how the decal fits all the way around. I'm going to get that closer for you guys. I fired glazed pieces to cone 6, decal them to in cone 04. Yes, it does. It does change. So it dulls it a tiny bit to a satin. You're exactly right. Yeah, it turns a bright glaze to a soft satin. Yes, and I found that happens. I'm okay with that. The only time it is an issue if I'm putting luster on top, it dulls the luster a little bit. So I just got to think about where I'm putting the decal and make sure I don't put it where I want luster. So I'm just making sure I have my holes lined up. See, I already have signed the back of these, and I have hanging holes on the back of the plates. And if I put my decal on upside down, that would be really bad. So same way as I did the other one, I'm just going to lay the decal on. You can see how slippery it is on this paper. And I like the satin tried luster. Yeah. Well, if you're at NCECA this year, you should come to see my presentation in the process room on the 17th. That's Thursday morning, St. Patrick's Day, at 10 a.m. But they will put it on YouTube if you can't make it there. And I don't know if I can scope that. You wish. I don't know if they'll let me scope my demo. I can ask. I'm on your, yay, woo! I'm on your schedule at NCECA, so there'll at least be one person there watching me. I'll just be myself in the room. So I'm just going to smooth this out like I did the other one. I like decaling days because I'm not in the studio. You know, I'm in the house, so it's the kind of thing where I can get house stuff done. Not that I really want to do house stuff. It's just I'm in here anyways, so I can catch up. Thousands of there will be thousands watching, huh? Well, that's daunting. I was just going to pretend there was only like 10 people and I won't get nervous. So I'm going to slide this. So while this just went on and it's not dried yet, so while it's still damp on here, I can pull the decal. No pressure. I know. Actually, this is my 6th scope maybe, I think. And doing the periscope has, I think, helped me. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's practice. I'm just moving stuff about. I have to get to an X-Acto knife. And I wanted to keep my iPad where I can see it so I can read your comments. So I am going to use an X-Acto. So a really sharp X-Acto is a great tool to have for refining your decal. Once the decal is on, I like to take some pieces off. I want it to really fit well. And, right here, there's some extra. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going right along that bottom of the plate. There we go. So it just pulls away. And you see it's a nice clean cut. But make sure X-Acto is really sharp. Just don't get cut. And so I'm going to do the same thing over here. And take this off. Yeah. All right. There. So what else am I going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about China paints in the process room too. So it's going to be using your own laser decals. It's going to be using commercial decals because I use those as well. And China painting. And last will be luster. Although they won't let the luster in the room. It's a banned substance, so I have to pretend. So I'll just bring an empty jar of luster and I don't know, I'll just pretend to put luster on. That'll be interesting. So I won't spend a lot of time talking about the luster, I guess. So this one's done and it's ready for the kiln. So when I do a decal firing, I do it to my bisque temp, which is 05, like I said already. And I will often not have enough decal work at the same time as I have some bisque work. So what I will do is I'll have in the bottom of the kiln some bisque pieces, and then I have the decal pieces on the top. Now I don't know if there's issues fuming and stuff. I only do it with the laser decals, and I keep the kiln well vented, so I don't have any problems. But I don't know, anyone else out there that does decaling, I'd love to hear if they mix their bisque kilns with their decal kilns. So here's a fun little plate that I made. I made the top, I rolled out a slab, and I cut the shape out to get this little scallop plate, and then I pierced it, and then I threw a bottom, and I attached it, and then I went back and slip trailed to create these little bumps, and these little raised, you do? Oh good, I'm glad. You know, a lot of times I wing it, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I just do it and see what happens, and I haven't had any problems, so I keep going. Yeah, this is a cute little, it's actually a cupcake stand. Like, how sweet, right? So I'm gonna make sure I have it facing in the right direction, and then sweet cupcake stand. It's gonna be pink and gold and have flowers and so beautiful. And then in the center, of course, we have our female soldier holding her rifle, and Humvee mixed load going right now. Yes, well, these are going in the kiln. I already have the bisque pieces loaded in it, and as soon as I'm done with these decals and they've sat, usually I let them wait a couple hours till they're dry. They're going to go right in the kiln and I'm going to start it. Because these pieces actually, I have work at the clay studio. I don't know if they brought any of my pieces this year. They did last year. I don't know if they did this year. I offered some cups, so I don't know. We'll see. You'll have to stop by their booth and see. And if they don't have it, you should say, why don't you have her work? I think it was space if they don't have it. But Okay, so you can see how this is hanging a little over the edge, and I have to decide if I want to cut off her or the Humvee, and I think the Humvee is going to go before her. You love my work, so you'll ask. Oh, thanks, sweet, sweet MB. I'm cutting this down a little more to make it fit. Yeah, I love the combination of the soldier, you know, especially the female soldier, you know, in battle uniform, in combat, you know, holding the rifle, combined with these beautiful, delicate, overly feminine forms. Okay, so I think this guy, this girl, is ready to go on here. Exactly. That's right. Well, I do have a lot of pieces in exhibition right now with Roberto Lugo up at the Burlington City Art Center, and the show is called Dysfunction, and it's up until April 9th. And I have 31 plates installed there, so you could always go check out online their website and see what they have. But they're all the pieces you can buy individually, and there's little small plates and great big platters and chargers and dinner size plates. So I'm just cleaning the surface again with rubbing alcohol. I saw someone using the little, you're welcome, you're welcome. I saw somebody using the little packets of rubbing alcohol, the disposable ones that you get from the clinic. And I thought, oh, that's so awesome, because I have this huge bottle. Oh, you're welcome. I love sharing my work. I mean, who doesn't like, you know, talking about what they do? So here's my next decal. It's all ready to go. I'm going to stick that on and just slide it off. Just smooth it out. So you can see on this there's some pieces. Hi, Lynn Bells. Thanks for joining. There's right here is a harsh line, and I'm not going to worry about this because I'm going to put a commercial decal on, and I layer it on top of this. It'll hide that line completely. You won't even see it when it's all done. Actually, do I have any pieces, finished pieces in here? Yay, I'm back. Hi, Judy. Thanks for joining. So I'm just smoothing out any water that's underneath this decal and any air bubbles until it's nice and flat. There. Let me slide this over. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. So I'm going to use my X-Acto and cut along this edge here. And then just pull that off. So that's really nice how it goes right to the end. So the decals on this, I have these really sweet little tiny spring flowers that I'm going to use, and I'm going to put them, like, wreath them along here. I don't have my decals out today. I will be decaling again before NCECA because these pieces are going to be at NCECA for the process room demo. So like this plate here that you just saw me put the decal on, this will go in the kiln, get fired, thanks. And then I will commercial decal it and then fire it again, and then China paint it and fire it one more time, all before next Tuesday morning when I leave for NCECA. So I am scheduled straight out with firings between now and Tuesday. I'll probably be unloading this late Monday night and packing it in my bags, in my carry-on. So this one's ready. Scoping all that, I can. Thanks. I know, I have been straight out, and I always think I'm going to plan better and I'm going to have more time, but it never happens. Never, never, never. So I got some little guys. Here's a little plate that I'm going to do. So it's just a little dessert plate, simple, slab built, and that's the decal that's going to go on it. So I'm going to, thanks for the hearts. You guys are great. So I'm just going to cut out the excess. I got a little pile of debris going over here to the side. Usually what I do is I have it over there, I have a little plate that I just bring in with me, and I just put all the stuff on this plate to try to keep it from going anywhere. Because what happens is these backing papers are wet and sticky, and it's just nice if they can all be in just one pile instead of all over the table. So she's ready. I'm going to put her in the water. Yeah, I think I will scope doing some of the commercial decals. And I'll scope the China painting. I'll scope the whole process. Mostly because I think, you know, there's going to be quite a few people at NCECA that will see it. But so many more are not going to make it. And what I do is kind of this crazy complex thing. And it's a lot of steps, but, you know, yay. Glad you like it. It's a lot of steps, but I think it's well worth it. I can't go this year. Oh, maybe next year. All right, I better check the battery on my phone. I didn't even think of that. I'm not plugged in. All right, it doesn't tell me. It's not blinking, so I guess I'm good. So probably a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to go just because I've got to finish this up and then go put these in the kiln and 40 million other things happening. So this is almost ready. Oh, I'm testing to see. Yes. So the water is room temperature, and when it's that warm, it takes about 30 seconds. If you have hot water, and if it's too hot, the decal will actually curl up, and it'll be hard to work with. So here she is. I'm just going to lay her on, holding down, and pull. I'll just smooth her out. Do I use distilled water for the water that I'm soaking the decals in? Is that what you mean? Because I just use, yes, no, I use our tap water, which is, ooh, I just slid that too far, which is well water. I know, I guess, is there an issue for impurities? Is that the question? Like, I don't know, does anybody out there have problems using tap water with their decals and has tried distilled? I don't know if it matters. I've never used distilled water. You could. I just use what came out of the tap. Because, you know, it came out of the tap. It said use distilled. Okay. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's, if you live in a place that puts chlorine or fluoride in their water. I'm well water, like I said, so it's just, and I live in Vermont, so it's very rural, and so there's nothing iron in the water. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I think if maybe you're on city water, you might want to do that. I don't know. I've always just used my tap, but I'm gonna have to look into that and find out who leave a shadow. Okay. I haven't seen that in my work, but I'm sure it's possible. And like here's a piece that I decal fired already, so you can see. Oh, there's a bit of a glare. Anyhow, I haven't had any problems with shadowing, but if that starts to happen, I will definitely think about switching my water. So if you want to use this, oh, just guessing. Well, maybe somebody else will see the scope and they'll know why, and they'll do a follow-up and say, hey, this is why you should use distilled. Or maybe it's just preference, I don't know. So I'm just going to trim this one. That's it. All right. So I think I'm going to go because I have a bunch more to get done and I want to get them out in the kiln before too long. I'm on well water too, so I don't know any other way. So Mud Queen, do you use your well water or do you use distilled? Thanks, Judy. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope I answered your questions. If you have more questions, you know, you can catch me on another scope, or you could always email me. You know, if you follow me on Twitter or in Periscope, use from the tap. So okay, so well water, yes. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll see y'all in NCECA. And if you have any other questions, you know, you can always email me. So you never notice the difference. Yeah, I've never used anything else, so I wouldn't know. This is all I've used, is the tap water. But if I started having problems, I would definitely look into it. And if you're out there using it and you're having some problems, you know, maybe you want to try distilled water. That at least narrows it down, and you know it's not your water. That's the problem. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining and watching. And if you all have any questions, let me know. I'm going to scope, let's see, probably Saturday. This is going to go in the kiln, well, maybe tomorrow. If these come out fast enough and are cool enough, I'll be doing commercial decals. So it might be tomorrow evening or Saturday morning. Depends. So I'll see y'all then. Take care and have a great day. Bye.